issues with sound. So everyone in the back hear me?
Yes.
How about the sides?
Yes.
Center? Great. All right. As Rebecca said before, my name is Saifa. I'm an intersex activist. I live in the United States. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm originally from New York City. And it's funny because Rebecca has been so gracious to host me, as well as the Equality Network. A little funny thing, maybe not, people may not think it's funny. So my last name is Wall, which is Irish. My great-grandfather's Irish. So since I've been here, I'm like, oh my God, I need to go to Ireland. And like, Rebecca's like, but you're in Scotland, you know? Like, can you like get with Scotland? I'm like, okay, that's fine. But you all have a very beautiful country. Edinburgh is great. I've been having a really great time so far. So talking about intersex. So intersex, basically, as Rebecca said, is a bunch of sex characteristics like genitals, chromosomes, karyotype that are atypical for men and women. And what makes this issue very critical is the sense that when a child is born intersex, it creates a medical emergency where parents, they don't know what to do. Because how many people in this room are parents? Oh, wow, okay. How many people are grandparents? All right, so I think you all, at some point, when you have been parents, there is a lot of fear, right? You want the best for your child. You want your child to be healthy. And I think what a lot of medical providers do is that they create a situation to kind of say that intersex children are not healthy, and that they prescribe these mostly cosmetic, medically unnecessary surgeries on babies. This happens to babies. It happens all over the world. It happens in my context, which is the United States. It's happening here. It happens in different countries. And this movement that was done and that has been historically done by intersex activists is about reclaiming bodily autonomy. It's celebrating bodily diversity. And this is the reason why I speak. So just to share a little bit about my story, you can read about me online because I've written my story in very different ways. So I'm one of 8 people in my family who was born with an intersex trait known as androgen insensitivity syndrome. So what it means is that my body was partially responsive to testosterone when I was in the womb. And basically, just to let you know how sort of how common intersex traits are, there are I think there are 40 documented intersex traits, up to 40, and it is as common as 1 in 100 people. But the thing is that we don't actually know how common intersex traits are. Because again, it's about this gender binary system and holding up a gender binary system that actually creates more harm than good, right? How many people when you were younger in this room did things how many women in this room, women who identify as women, were told that you're acting too rough or you're a tomboy? See what I'm saying? Or how about the men in this room who were raised as men, were told that you're acting like a girl, or you should be more rough, or you should be more tough, and any men? I know there's more than a few hands, but that's fine. That's fine. And I think what we realize is that this gender binary system is very oppressive. It's oppressive to people who are trans, who are intersex, and people who are also cisgender, right? So with my trait, with androgen insensitivity syndrome, I was assigned female at birth because the doctors felt that my phallus wasn't big enough, right? And they do it based on this very patriarchal, very insular perception that a man's penis should be able to penetrate a woman's vagina. It's very heterosexual, right? And so I was assigned female at birth. And part of this trait that I have is that I had undescended testes that was still when I was going through puberty around 11 or 12, my voice deepened, I was starting to grow facial hair, I was starting to viralize and starting to develop as male. And doctors told my mom a lie that my undescended testes were cancerous. It's true. And the thing is, what makes this story so compelling is that it's universal. Because so many intersex activists with this particular trait have been told the same thing. in different parts of the world, you know? So they told my mom that they didn't refer to them as testes, they referred to them as gonads. They told my mom that my gonads were cancerous, and I was subjected to like medical violence, right? My testes were removed, I was put on estrogen and progesterone for 4 years, and they never told my mom what happened, right? Because if my mom would have known that I was actually born with testes, she wouldn't have raised me as a girl because she wanted a boy. And she knew that she had a boy in her womb, you know? And these kind of lies are prolific, right? And the thing is, as intersex activists, we're doing this work because we believe that children should not be subject, again, to these cosmetic, medically unnecessary surgeries. So that's why I do this work. Because of the violence that was impacted, you know, that has impacted my life, that has impacted the lives of people who I love and I care about. So there could be intersex people in this room, right? And that's how deep the culture of shame and secrecy is that there are people who are intersex and who don't know. And how it's defined is so narrowly defined too. Because I think what we're trying to say here is it's like, for a moment, people should question, what is this idea of normal? Like, how do you know that you're not intersex, right? Like, how do you know, like, who told you that you are who you are? Was it a doctor? Was it your parents? How did your gender get reinforced, right? And what are the things that we have to do to uphold this very arbitrary, very binary system of gender? So that's all I have to share. But thank you all for listening. And if y'all have any more questions, please feel free to ask.